Well, joining us now on NewsNation Now is Mayor of El Cajon, California, Bill Wells. Mayor Wells, thank you so much for joining us. We wanted to bring you on because you actually saw protests in your city back in April after an ICE raid, too. What did you see then, and are you concerned today's protests could end up impacting your city once again?
Well, California has basically become a lawless anarchy, and the people that are running the government in California don't want to even follow their own laws. You know, there's a law in California called 185 that in the penal code that says you can't wear a mask while committing a crime and try to evade police. You know, California just plays by its own rules. They're all against anarchy when they thought it was happening on January 6th, but they're perfectly fine with anarchy in the streets when it comes to this particular issue. California has a history of picking and choosing the issues that it wants to abide with and the laws that it wants to abide with, and ignoring the laws and even breaking the laws they don't like. And, you know, frankly, we're all very happy. 42% of us in California are still conservatives, and we're all very happy that the Trump administration is holding California to account at this point.
Yeah, and the lawlessness that conservatives would argue happened under the Biden administration as millions of illegal immigrants were welcomed into the country. Border czar Tom Homan is out with some very powerful words that I'd like for you to take a listen to. He's talking pretty much directly to California officials. He says it's time to cooperate or they will risk being detained themselves.
You cross that line. It's a felony to knowingly harbor and conceal an illegal alien. It's a felony to impede law enforcement from doing their job.
Do you think that the mayor of LA is doing that?
If she crossed that line, we'll ask DOJ to prosecute.
And we're just getting this as well. This is from Gavin Newsom, the governor there, posting on X, quote, Trump is sending 2,000 National Guard troops into LA County, not to meet an unmet need, but to manufacture a crisis. He's hoping for chaos so he can justify more crackdowns, more fear, more control. Stay calm, never use violence, stay peaceful. So what do you make of what Gavin Newsom is saying here?
Well, I think Gavin Newsom is basically throwing a temper tantrum because he's used to being a scofflaw and doing whatever he wants without any being held to any standard. Trump is doing the right thing. He's protecting troops, or he's protecting officers that represent the national government. If we don't protect them, which is our obligation, our police should be doing that. It makes sense that the federal government should be doing it themselves. I've said the same thing about homelessness for a long time. At some point, if California just refuses to bring homelessness off the street and to allow us to live like a third world nation, the government shouldn't be participating in this. We should be cutting off money to health and human services and transportation and housing until California will comply. And unfortunately, I don't think California is ever going to comply unless you use some element of force.
All right, well, take a listen to this. On the Hill Sunday today, our Blake Berman talked with Democratic Congresswoman Sarah Elfreth, and she called the move by the Trump administration to bring in the National Guard, which we're watching unfold on our screen here. She calls it deeply flawed.
It's pretty unprecedented to send the National Guard into a situation where the governor or the local mayor has not requested it, because coordination between public service agencies is paramount here. So it's not been requested. The governor and the mayor have repeatedly said they have the situation under control with their local law enforcement.
You know, this is not something that we see every day, the National Guard being called in by the President of the United States and going over the governor of the state there. What do you make of Governor Newsom's arguments, and hers as well, that the President is trying to do this because he wants an escalation? He wants to poke the bear, essentially.
First off, I completely disagree with that. But second off, I understand the point. In a normal circumstances, you wouldn't have the federal government bringing in troops over the wishes of the mayor or the wishes of the governor. However, if the governor and the mayor of the city that we're talking about refuses to enforce the laws, what choice does the federal government have? I mean, we did this way back in the Jim Crow era when states like Alabama wouldn't comply. We had to send in national troops to make them comply. And there are certain times when politicians just frankly are so much on the wrong side of history and so wrong that they've got to be held to account.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.